Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TableTakes. We have so much exciting news to share with you today, and it is the lovely month of October. Happy Spooktober to all who celebrate. We have lots of spooky things in store for the month. There's so many cool headlines for us to show to you today. But first, as usual, we will be getting started by checking in with all of our lovely hosts about their week. Noir, how has your week been?
I've been pretty busy doing life stuff, but yeah, we've made it to the weekend. So I've got a house guest here that came all the way from Australia, and my partner obviously is Canadian, so there's like an invasion happening in my home. I got introduced to AFL, which is Australian football. It's brutal, but other than that, I've been doing pretty good.
Excellent. Whenever I hear house guest, my mind immediately goes to a new victim for which to entrap in board gaming. Have you been playing any board games?
Oh, that's gonna be something that we do tonight.
Okay.
The priority beforehand was to introduce them to all of the best Chicago food. So we've had the hot dogs, the deep dish, the Italian beef. It's been, I've gained a lot of weight this week.
Well, there's got to be something about Chicago that is so appealing because all of my friends keep leaving Seattle and they're moving over to Chicago for some reason, and I don't get it. Stop stealing all
My
my
plan
friends,
is
Noir.
working.
They'll be back.
Peter, thanks for
Yes.
volunteering to go next. How has your
Oh,
week been?
oh, fantastic. Last weekend was delightful. Dee surprised me with a weekend trip over to the Olympic Peninsula, and we went to Lake Quinault, and we kind of went around the entire peninsula of Northwest Washington, and it was delightful.
That sounds delightful. I don't really get around Washington often enough. I should go to more scenic routes, and you can show me a couple of them. I've been
It,
getting more into my climbing era, right? So, and I know that you used to climb. You got to take me climbing someday, Peter.
let's do it. That would be fun. I mean, I'll sit at the bottom and belay while you lead.
Ah, perfect. Okay, well, Bonsai, we can't forget about you. How's your week been?
It's actually been very good. The sun has been out. I was like, oh no, Washington weather, the dreary is coming in, but we got a little bit of sun. That's
Mhm.
been good. Another good news is my mom's finally out of the hospital. That's great news. I don't know if you guys know. I had some family issues earlier, but now she's feeling better. And another great news is that I finally get to play all my board games tomorrow. My friends are coming over. We're gonna whip out all the games that are like more than two players, and I'm finally gonna get into playing ice and other games. Hopefully, depending on how much time we have, it might just be ice.
That sounds fun. Wow. Weird. Maybe I missed my invite. Hold on. I'll check my mail. I'm sure it's still in the mail. I'll go look for it. I hope you have fun playing ice. I love that game. Super super fun. I have had a couple of board games arrive finally after kickstarting them for quite some time. It seems everybody's getting their Kickstarters before I do because I finally got my Terraforming Mars dice game, which is Terraforming Mars, but it's not the regular board game. It's not the Ares Expedition, which is just cards. This is the dice version. Okay, real Terraforming Mars is played with dice. I got all the sleeves. I got a little play mat, and it finally all arrived. I can't wait to crack it open and play it because I love Terraforming Mars, but I also love dice. I don't know if you guys knew that. Um, Notoriously a huge dice fan, so super excited to finally get a chance to crack it open. All right, well that's enough out of us. Let's let's have some headlines. Oh wait, no, that's more of us. Okay, never mind. Let's do the news, guys. How about you start us off first, Peter? Any exciting big news you want to tell us about?
Well, Javion, as you know, I'm sure Essenspiele 2023 is happening right now in Germany. And that's just exciting as heck. So we have an article about it and some live feeds, almost live feeds, from Matt Jarvis and various roving contributors at Dicebreaker. So first of all, Essen Spiele is the biggest board game convention. Now I know, wait, Peter, you've told me before that Gen Con's the biggest convention. Well, yeah, but we are a tabletop game convention. But Essen is really primarily focused on board games, and it deserves the crown for that. So the folks at Dicebreaker are scouring the show for the latest news, reveals, and chances to play in this year's hottest releases. From new additions in beloved series to hidden gems tucked away in the corners of the Messessen, we'll be looking for every game you shouldn't miss and sharing it with you live from the exhibition. Expect discoveries, hands-on impressions, and more posted in tasty, bite-sized form directly to the live feed below. Okay, so I'm going to skip to reading a little bit from the live feed. Okay, so I got to switch windows here. Okay, so this is okay, scrolling down here. Essen has truly begun. I spotted my first Reiner Knizia game of the show, the fairly dry-looking Roland Wright at the office, because what I want to do in my spare time is pretend I'm at work. It wasn't long before I saw at least 3 other Knizia creations, though. One of the most intriguing games I saw today was Almost Innocent, a sort of mix of deduction game like Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, and Battleship. Players ask each other questions to identify the squares on a central board that relate to the clues of who, what, how, and where. Looks great. The most charming game we saw might be Nikojima, a gorgeously simple dexterity game. Players must carefully place 2 wooden poles connected by a piece of string. They're power lines in 2 districts on the board. It gets harder and harder as more poles are placed, because the strings mustn't touch each other, and the poles, which can be stacked into towers, must avoid falling over. Okay, that does sound good if you're a balance fan. Essen Spiel owner Mers Verlag gave us a brief statement regarding the use of AI artwork in their marketing material. Essentially, they won't properly address criticism until after the show. Yeah, once all the press leaves. Okay. And the new mascot, Meeps, is not involved with this in any way. Okay. There's a board game inspired by the Saw horror film franchise coming to Kickstarter. Saw, the Jigsaw... Oh, wait, there's a link. I'm going to go look at this link here. Okay, it says players will compete to survive both Jigsaw's traps and those created by opposing players, all while managing their own health, scrounging for resources, attempting to be the last one surviving in their hellish confines. Cards represent resources, blah, 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 blah. Characters' health is represented by interlocking cardboard pieces. Jigsaw puzzle cardboards. Lose an arm to a circular saw or have a leg crushed by falling debris. Switch out those pieces to reflect damage and track your now reduced to... okay, I can't take any more of this. I know, Javion, you're gonna love that, I'm sure. Let's see, there is well, it just goes on and on. There's a tile drafting new version of Azul. There is a the highlight of the morning so far is a game coming out next year called Harmonize. Create habitats for animals of Portuguese palaces. Oh, that's back to Azul. Anyway, you get the idea. What's happening over there right now is new games that the world has never seen is being shown to people at booths, and there's lots of stuff to eat there that's German food, and that's got to be... It sounds like a tasty time. What do you think, Javion?
Well, Essen is the place for board game announcements, typically, like the really big ones. We get a lot of them at Gen Con as well, but when it comes to Essen, like there's a lot of German, UK, Europe designers who you have the access to the people that actually travel to it. So as if I needed one more reason to go to Germany. I really want to go over to Europe and check this out, just because, just a whole convention just for board gaming.
Wait, I'm sorry, I gotta add one thing here real quick. I'm sorry, I just scrolled down on this saw thing. The character sheet is a literal jigsaw puzzle where pieces are swapped out as players lose limbs. Oh
Oh, that is
my
cool.
That's brutal.
Okay, I promise I'm done reading that article. I closed the window, Javion. You're safe to resume command.
Great, excellent. Let's talk about something a little bit less scary. AI. Noir, take it away.
All right. Well, first and foremost, we want to thank the folks over at Polygon, Charlie Hall in particular, for providing us the information from this article. BackerKit bans AI generated content from its platforms, including art for board games. BackerKit will not allow AI generated content on its platform, which includes many high profile board games and tabletop role playing game projects. The announcement, made formal in a blog post on Monday, stands in stark contrast to its biggest rival, crowdfunding giant Kickstarter, which has no such restrictions. The announcement comes less than 1 month after AI generated art in a Terraforming Mars board game expansion raised alarms among creators and backers alike. BackerKit's policy goes into effect on October 4th. So, this is a pretty big move, and they're quoted as saying this policy emphasizes that projects on BackerKit cannot include content solely generated by AI tools. The company said in its announcement that all content and assets must first be created by humans. Now, we here at TableTakes are fully aware that this is a somewhat contentious topic. We ourselves were having a discussion about the topic in the green room before we went live, and there are bevy of different perspectives here. Uh, I am personally of the perspective that I'm not generally a fan. Uh, I'm a bohemian artist to my soul, so it's hard enough for artists to get work as it is. But I do believe that AI is inevitable. To quote one Philip DeFranco, hey, AI is as bad as it's ever going to be right now. It's only ever going to get better from here on out. So I just hope that continuing, there are ethical and moral guidelines in place for how we utilize and commodify AI. That said, what do you all think about this particular topic?
I'll go ahead and jump in. I actually think AI is great as a resource tool, and it is what, like, how the way is, at least for me, how a lot of people complain, oh, you're not using hand tools, you're not using this. It's like the same thing when digital art came out. Everyone's like, oh, that's not real art. I believe that AI is just generally a tool that you use as a reference, especially for those who have a harder time making physical, like, conceptions on how this piece they want to make is in their head, and they just type it out as a story, and then they see their reference, and then they could create their art. That's how I see it. I also am on the opinion that it is like in the Industrial Revolution. I know a lot of people don't agree with me. I'm just very excited. I am a very positive futurist. I know it's hard to say, but I am positive futurist, and I can't wait till I have a AI buddy who is like my best friend that's also a teddy bear.
Buns, I agree with you on everything that you said. I feel BackerKit is making this decision, and it's definitely going to lose them business, right? Like, they're definitely not going to have as many options as some of the other crowdfunding projects out there. But BackerKit's already been doing such a great job at curating all of the campaigns that they allow on their platform. I haven't seen a single bad one. It's all very high quality, and they've already got the in-house infrastructure for getting the funding complete anyway. So that, all that being said, I hope the best for them. I would like to see maybe a little bit more leniency, hopefully, that they continue to thrive, and this isn't a huge setback for them.
So I'm okay with BackerKit and any company making whatever decision they want to on this topic, really. I'm generally okay with AI generated stuff. I do think that companies should feel morally obligated to let consumers know. And I think that perhaps a body of laws that support this just like, you get to know whether or not there's MSG in your rice that you're buying or whatever it is, right? You get to know what the ingredients are in a can of soup. You should be able to know whether the art or text or music that was created in something that you're buying was generated by AI. I think some sort of disclosure like that would be great. And I think that there should be restrictions on what assets that exist in the world AI can look at in generating its algorithms. So, if you're an artist and you have painted original art and put it on the internet, I think some sort of restriction on that prevents AI art drawing programs from using your art without your consent seems like it's probably a good idea.
That brings back to what Noir told us talk about earlier about like his big thing is consent. All things like if you give permission to be like, hey, okay, I want to see what people come up with my art style. I think that's with anything in general with art, especially if you like somebody and you take like you're like, oh, I like this person's art style, I'm going to go ahead and use it. If you don't credit them, even in the real world, even without AI, you need to be able to just credit people or just like get those permissions. I mean, Noir, you are more eloquent on this point because you're very passionate about it. I'm gonna flub it, so please take this ball.
Just to really briefly run down the reason that I am of the stance that I am is because AI don't come up with ideas from nowhere. They are fed previous whatever their output's going to be. So for example, if it is an AI designed to create music, it's going to be fed existing music. If it's an AI that's meant to output art, it's going to be fed existing art. And this is the crux of my issue because a lot of the AIs that we're seeing right now are being fed art from artists without their consent, and then it's outputting work in their style. Now, that's the problem of it, because at no point can anybody stop someone teaching AI from learning how to sing like Michael Jackson. I use that example in particular because AI are being trained off of the art from dead artists who can't give their consent. So like, we have an estate issue, and it just gets really wonky. And that's why we need very clear, transparent, ethical guidelines for how AI is taught, how it's utilized, and most importantly, how it's commodified. I don't care what you do with AI on your own. There are some people that are a little bit more extreme in their beliefs than I am. Like if you want to, at a home game go, this is what my D&D character looks like. Knock yourself out. But if you're going, hey, I've got this tabletop book and I want you to buy it, and the art in it is being created by AI, I just think that's my opinion, is that it's unethical. The last thing I'm going to say about this before I hand the reins back to you, Javion, is please be insightful in your opinions. It's very common for a lot of people to see that something is generally unpopular and then thus decide that they don't like it. I implore you to do the reading. I implore you to do the research. I implore you to check out the trial that just went through that says that AI art can't be copywritten. Do the research yourself and come up with an insightful and informed opinion. Don't let Twitter form your opinion, for the love of God. That is it.
Yeah, I think we will watch closely to see how more developments and regulation around AI develops, hopefully ethically enough that BackerKit's willing to allow some content in some form. But we will also be watching very closely to see if BackerKit is able to maintain the same level of popularity alongside all of these changes. All right. Well, let's get into our next headline. It appears Toy Fair is packing its bags and heading out on the road. Peter, tell us more.
Yeah, I should have called myself the convention spotlight corner on this particular episode of Table Takes because once again, we're going to talk about a convention. New York Toy Fair can no longer be called the New York Toy Fair. I guess it's Toy Fair for now, but it is moving to New Orleans. This article is brought to us by Milton Grip and our friends at ICV2. So the Toy Association is moving Toy Fair out of New York after the next show and is also changing the dates from its current fall schedule. The organization announced at this year's show. Toy Fair has been held in New York City since 1903. In the 2025 Toy Fair, which will be the last show in New York City, will be held at the traditional location of the Javits Center, March 1 through 4, 2025. Beginning in 2026, Toy Fair will move to the New Orleans Ernest N. Memorial Convention Center. And also it will move earlier in Q1. The out-year dates are January 17 to 20 in 2026, January 9 to 12 in 2027, and January 15 to 18 in 2028. Those are, by the way, the traditional dates for Toy Fair. It's always been in January and sort of mid-January. The move to New Orleans is in response to stakeholder input, the association said, after gathering opinions from key retailers, members, and exhibitors of the Toy Association, and based on a number of evaluation factors, including timing, high-quality space availability, access to transportation, and affordability of exhibitors and attendees, it became clear that New Orleans would be the best fit for the Toy Fair and best meet the needs of our diverse guests. Let's go with that. Diverse guest, Steve Passier, president and CEO of the Toy Association, said, New Orleans has state-of-the-art facilities, including a brand new airport, renowned restaurants, museums, music, an array of event spaces, and a strong collaborative partnership between the convention center, New Orleans, and company, and the business community, making it a perfect welcoming fit for Toy Fair. Neither Hasbro nor Mattel, the two largest U.S. toy companies, exhibited at Toy Fair this year, although the association reported that pre-registrations were up 7% over the 2020 event. See Fall Shows article. It appears to us that the number of game companies was down from Toy Fair 2020 this year, likely due to the proximity of the dates to Spiel Essen, which kicks off this Thursday, October 5, only 2 days after Toy Fair wraps.
A lot of things are moving and shaking. I feel like there's a conspiracy in this. All right, folks. Let me go ahead and tell you about this little thing. It doesn't really have to do with the Toy Fair, but it does kind of have to do with the Toy Fair. This is my. By the way, thank you, Polygon, for the choice from Anna Diaz, for this. But Ravensburg Disney Lorcana. I don't know if you heard of this little thing, this little card game that's been going about. That's just been very, very hard for people to get for some reason. Just very hard for people to get their hands on the first edition decks and stuff. I even experienced it when I went to Gen Con because I saw that there is people dedicating a whole day of Gen Con just to wait in line to get it. I know that maybe not everybody believes in this conspiracy, but I believe they are creating kind of like a what is it called, artificial source, or what is it, artificial scarcity, in my opinion, with these Lorcons. Like, they know Disney adults, Disney people, we want the Disney. All right, give us the mouse cult is strong, but you should know, if you know the mouse cult is strong, why don't you print enough? The scarcity, this is false scarcity to make it more hyped. I don't know. What are y'all opinions for this? But yes, the quick blip is that if you had a hard time getting the first set, they have just made the announcement that they will be reprinting the Rise of the First Flood board, expected by the holiday season. Somehow they were able to get it ready for the holiday season. You see this? You see all the takes? It's all coming in. But yes, right now the printing is sold out and sets are already selling on eBay for about 3 times the price. So just saying, what do you all think? This is a conspiracy, right? You all agree, correct? So much.
Oh, bonsai, bonsai, bonsai.
I'm afraid of what you'll do if I don't agree.
I
Well,
think
okay,
I
so
don't agree.
bonsai, let's break it down. Okay, so A, maybe there's a conspiracy.
Mm.
B, maybe they didn't forecast accurately for how many cards they would need. Maybe the cards were more popular than they thought they would be. And it takes time to print more.
It does. But I'm just saying, I don't know. Noir, sorry, you had a take on this. You agree, right? The hat tells
I want to agree with you, Bonsai, but I don't.
you.
And I don't think that this game. I don't think it's the forecasting either. But you both know more about this than I do, so I'm probably wrong. I think nobody expected resellers to be as enthused as they were. I think Disney anticipated either Disney adults or resellers. I don't. It actually just goes back to what you were saying, Peter. Right? It's probably you're right. It's the forecasting. I don't think that anybody considered what the buying power of resellers and Disney adults would be like together. Like these are two groups that are. I'm not gonna say something mean. I'm gonna say these are two groups that are efficient at what they do. And what they do is
Very
consume.
passionate.
And I think that they consumed way more than anybody even imagined. I mean, just going back to Gen Con, they were at the door before we were. Like
Right. But so okay, that's true. But to print cards that are shipping now, the print runs for those had to have been ordered before Gen Con. Okay.
You're
I mean,
right,
there's a
you're right.
lag. There's a lag between when you see it, and there's a long list of trading card games that have just not done well. In fact, no trading card games have done as well as Magic or close to it ever in the US market, except for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, and so okay, well, Disney is kind of like Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh, isn't it?
Mm.
I think we are still seeing the shockwaves and ramifications of long-lasting pandemic effects. I think the Toy Fair moving had more to do with that than a lot of other extraneous things. I think there was, Peter, you already said that there was only one that happened after the pandemic, the quarantine lifted. And even then, they skipped the next two just because of like a lot of different factors. I think that has way more to do with it than, unfortunately, some of us would like to believe.
Yeah, let's blame the pandemic. That's a great idea. I mean, it used to be
Exactly.
blame Canada. Now we'll blame pandemic.
Exactly. Well, who you can blame for the ongoing war between the Idneth Deepkin and the Daemons of Slanesh? Warhammer Underworlds. Warhammer Underworlds is getting its new core set pre-order in retail tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, you can pre-order from the Games Workshop website. The newest installment, the newest core set, is going to take place in Death Gorge, which lies in the icy depths of Andtor. Ooh. So with this new core set, you're going to get 2 new warbands, 2 new rivals decks for the Idneth Deepkin and the Daemons of Slanesh, as well as 2 universal rivals decks and everything you need to play a game of Warhammer Underworlds. Now, if you're not familiar with the IP, Warhammer is already a huge, massive, decades, centuries, millennia spanning lore system, all about being in outer space. And then there's like this emperor, and he's, there's like a lot of pew pew and a lot of swords, and it's pretty crazy. Warhammer Underworlds condenses all of the huge mechanics and tries to make it a little bit less daunting, uh foreshadowing, For new players and beginners, it's advertised as the miniatures board game for the tabletop. Uh, for folks who want a little bit less than to spend 3, 4, 5 hours on a huge set of super expensive minis. Now you can sort of condense all of it into a lot smaller of a board state, which just has a bunch of tokens, cards, minis, and of course, dice. So I'm very excited for some folks to finally jump into the hobby this way. Warhammer Underworld's new set is going to be on pre-order starting tomorrow. And I think if you just take a look at it, you'll see it actually fits really relatively small on a table. It's like the standard size of any Euro board game that you might have played on the streets. I have a question for all of you. Just looking from what you're seeing on the article, just this image here, is this something you would try?
Honestly, no, I'm not into the. I kind of like watching the Space Marine videos that people make, but I'm not as into Warhammer as other folks are. I like my happiness, and I don't like my my non-happiness. Though I do say that the sisterhood is really cool. I know more about the lore than anything about actually playing the game. Is all. That's all.
Well,
Sorry.
Bonta, you could have fooled me. You've run more than a couple of RPGs for us in this group, and I gotta say, you can get on both sides. You've got a penchant for the good and the evil side in your
I
heart.
can vouch for that.
Were you gonna say, Peter?
No, I mean, I think it looks kind of cool. I mean, for sure, right? It's not I don't really want to play fantasy miniatures game, right? But a fantasy board game, maybe. I don't know. I'm a purist when it comes to miniatures. I see miniatures. I either want to play D&D or want it to be historical and play like, the Battle of Gettysburg or something like that. Space Marines just never did it for me.
Well, in any case, for the folks who are interested in some of these products, you can start pre-ordering tomorrow. But let's head on over to another popular IP, Pokemon. Maybe a little too popular? Noir.
I think some folks over in Amsterdam would agree with you. First and foremost, a very special thank you to Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon for providing us the information on this article. Now, let's begin. Pokemon merch causes chaos at Van Gogh Museum, which will soon implement purchase limits. I'm sorry, I'm going to try and get through this without dying laughing.
As long as we don't
chaos
have to.
descended on Amsterdam's Van Gogh Museum as Pokemon fans and scalpers pushed and shoved their way to rare Pokemon merchandise. The Pokemon exhibition at the museum opened on September 28th, promising a special promo Pokemon card of Pikachu wearing Van Gogh's iconic gray hat. Beyond fans taking in the surreal paintings, or should we say post-impressionists, they put Pokemon into Van Gogh's work. The Van Gogh Museum attracted people seemingly interested in buying up exclusive Pokemon merchandise to sell for a high price online. Videos of the gift shop are online right now. It's madness. It looks like something out of like Avengers Endgame, with just people scrapping and clutching on to pictures of Pikachu for dear life. We talked about it with Lurkana. I'm just gonna say it again. Resellers really good at what they do. What they do is consume. If anything, I feel bad for the museum. They were hosting what was supposed to be a playful and fun event, and it got turned into something ugly because of commerce. So to everyone that was genuinely there, as a fan, I hope that you left with whatever that you were looking for. And if you were unable to, I hope you're able to procure it online. But more importantly, I'm just glad that throughout this chaos, nobody was seriously hurt. So, thumbs up.
The video in this article is wild. I mean, I haven't even seen it this crazy at Gen Con, and people are there are even more board gamers, like, frantic card fans there. But no, like, it's a small space, a limited amount of product, and a lot of people who want to try to make something out of, well, a lot of potential. It's pretty it's pretty wild.
I mean, I'm just gonna hop in real quick to say, reason this doesn't get that crazy at JCon is shout out to the volunteers and the 5 people working at JCon. Is it a self-congratulatory pat on the back? Yes, it is, but I'm doing it anyway. Shout out to the people that make JCon happen.
They got good security.
Almost too good. I've seen them try to keep Peter out of some rooms. You gotta bring your badge, man.
No.
Well,
yeah, no.
Shout out to all of the folks at the Van Gogh Museum. Hope you're doing well. Hope you got yourself some chamomile tea, and you're not going to make the same mistakes again in the future of letting people know that they can get something very valuable from your museum. Okay, moving on. This next headline comes to us from Charlie Hall of Polygon. It looks like Undaunted is taking things in a new direction, notably up, up, up into space. Undaunted is a franchise that has typically kept itself relegated to the 1940s, with games taking place in wartime. Such games as Undaunted Normandy, Undaunted North Africa, Stalingrad, and the Battle of Britain are no longer the same vein that they're heading through. These games, while they are very popular, card-based war games that rely on area control mechanics and deck building, are actually going to lead things in a new direction with Undaunted 2200 Callisto. In this version of Undaunted, you'll be going into space. You'll be spacefaring war bands who are either the space corporations, a la the Expanse or BattleTech, versus revolutionaries who are trying to overthrow big government. It is a battle for Callisto, and it's time to choose your side. It looks like it is going to be a big box game as well, which could mean it has some of the campaign mechanics that you might have seen in Stalingrad, if you are someone who's a seasoned veteran. It's also said to include 2-player, 4-player, and solo game modes, breaking away from the 2-player only style of the previous editions. So it looks like Osprey has announced that the change to its flagship board game franchise ahead of Eschen Spiel is going to have a little bit more information coming out this week. So we'll have to keep an eye out for Eschen announcement that will give us some more information. I don't know if anybody here, by show of hands, who here has played Undaunted? Oh, Bonsai. What was your
I think I
experience like?
have. It's more because one of my friends is a very big like board game, or like board game reenactor. So I didn't actually get to play it. I watched him and another person play it. So that's. I mean, it is. From what I could say, it seems like very like trying to be very close to what like the actual like battle plans and stuff are, and it's more historically accurate, I guess, in a lot of ways. But I just like, okay, cool. But I think it's cool that I think for me it's a little bit better that they are going away from actual like events and branching out to future events, because as we can see, a lot of people have come out and there's more touchy like kind of feelings when it comes to war and reenactment games.
Well, looks like that isn't going to be an issue or an obstacle for game design for them anymore because they are heading straight into space fantasy. But I'm sure they will try to keep it as realistic sounding as possible and keep that same feeling of undaunted games as they have in the past. Well, let's head on into our final headline for today's episode, where it looks like, Bonsai, you've got a very special headline from Watsy to share with us.
Yes, and thank you to PR Newswire for bringing us this article. So I don't know if you remember last year, Watsy decided to go ahead and give out to a lot of like in a small like bits and areas, give out little like short adventure packs and stuff for school so kids and young adults could play D&D and get into D&D as an educational thing. Well, they have now come back with an even bigger amount of resources for educators that you all could apply to if you happen to be an educator yourself. WotC has partnered with adoptaclassroom.com to provide a full D&D library, an after-school club kit, an essential kit, a campaign case, and $100 in classroom funding to 200 different classrooms around the area. This full package includes the player handbook, the DM's guide, the monster manual, Candlekeep mysteries, a starter set, terrain titles, creature tokens, and the after school set, which is like basically a second starter set with different adventures. This offer, of course, is open for classrooms from grades 4 to 12, and the teachers who are interested in using D&D as a teaching implement can submit the forms. We can go ahead and if you want to look in chat about the online application. I really like when you can make funication. I guess that's the fun education games, especially when you want to have like people learn like numbers. Exactly. D&D teaches numbers, teaches social skills, teaches negotiation skills. No longer is D&D delegated as a devil worshipping, book burning thing. You now can play it in schools. And so I just say the more incorporations that we have with nerdum culture in regular education and just making it fun, the better. What do y'all think?
Back in my day, if you wanted to play a game and learn something in school, it would have to be some sort of typing trainer or some kind of math game that we got to do maybe once or twice a year, not every day in class. Okay, we didn't have clubs where you could play D&D. We weren't incorporating our lesson plans into storming a castle and trying to slay dragons. All right, these kids, they have it too good. They don't know how good they have it.
Oh, Javion, don't get me started.
I wish everything they said about D&D was true. It'd be so much more fun. I've been playing all this time. I haven't summoned one devil. I've summoned people I would rather not have at the table, but not devils.
I have something to say about the title, adoptaclassroom.org. That to me sounds exactly like adopt a street. I don't know if you've seen those signs out where it's just like, oh, you can adopt a street. What they really want from you is just pay a bunch of money to like go around picking up the trash on the street. And usually only corporations are the ones donating big enough to even get their names on the signs and stuff like that. Is that what this is like? Am I gonna sponsor a whole classroom's D&D campaign, Bonsai?
Oh no, they're giving it. This is you can just apply, so WotC gives you all the stuff for free. This is just them giving the things. It's like it's not you paying to them, they're just giving it to you because they, charity.
Well, that sounds way more. I think more adoption should go exactly like that, where they just give you all of the stuff that you need in order to raise whatever classroom, street, or children you're raising. Well, that's gonna do it for today's episode. Oh, sorry, for today's headlines. But don't go anywhere because we are about to lead into our next segment, the Bundle Boss. Yes, it is I, your humble bundle boss. Today, coming to us from itch.io, we have some spooky visual novels from the Queer Halloween Stories 2023 bundle. That's right, it's that time of year again. It's time to break out the campfire story. With over 100 projects from over 80 folks from around the globe, ranging from spooky to spoopy, and sometimes downright unnerving. In this bundle, there are 83 digital games, 22 physical games, 7 books or zines, 3 comics, and 3 audio dramas. Now, please note that of the projects in this bundle, 15 of them do contain subject matter that is considered less than safe for work in nature. So if you're thinking about buying this bundle, you should be 18 years or older, or get an adult's permission first. And even then, maybe wait a couple years. So this bundle, the Queer Halloween Stories bundle, is actually a mutual aid bundle, directly benefiting the queer indie developers, authors, and artists, with all sales split evenly among participants who have opted to receive funds for their work. For the price of just one AAA title, you can help fund the future of queer art by supporting these creators and discovering titles you won't find anywhere else. So check out the Queer Halloween Stories 2023 bundle before it's too late. All right. Well, there you have it. Another excellent bundle for you to sink your teeth into. However, that's going to do it for that segment. And we've got another hot segment for you now. It's Crowdfunder Court.
Welcome to Crowdfunder Court. Here come the judges. Prepare to be judged. All rise. Court is now in session.
Noir, please approach the bench and show us what crowdfunding campaign you'd like to present today.
Oh, I'm very excited about this one. I would like to present Final Girl Series 3. Now, if you are like me, you love yourself some good old-fashioned horror movies. And this is essentially like the closest thing to Dead by Daylight for the tabletop. It's incredibly awesome. So, you're able to get season 3, which has a slew of new monsters for you to deal with. And during this Kickstarter, you can also get the Ultimate Box, which is what I'm going to be getting. So, what's inside the Ultimate Box? Glad you asked. It comes with everything everything involved with Final Girl at all. All 5 feature films, every single detailed miniature, all of the add-ons, all of the promos, everything. This game uses what they call the feature film system, which is essentially a core set of rules, and then you just add whatever film that you want to play, and there you go. The core box, when combined with their feature film box, has everything. Each feature film contains a unique killer and an iconic location, and the more feature films you have, the more killers and location combinations you can make. Each feature film box is double-sided with an amazing illustrated covers on the front and back. Not only that, but the magnetically attached box covers are removable with the reverse of each functioning as the killer and location boards respectfully. This is just a really cool game system, and it's incredibly thematic for Halloween. So, if you want to kill your friends, or if you want to escape the killer, take a look at the Final Girl.
Excellent.
But I'm not done yet. Because I do believe I have another, because I really want to protect my head. I know the losing your head bit was so last season, but I'm bringing it back. So in order to protect my head, I would like to introduce another Kickstarter, if I may. And this is one by friend of the show, Craig Berger of Nerdburger Games. It's Capers Cyberpunk. Now we've done interviews with Capers. In fact, that was the very first thing I ever did in this show was have a conversation with Craig about Capers. It is a tabletop system that uses cards, so it has a poker type feel where uh, you want to pull a high number, but depending on what suit you get, the results may differ. So if you get a 10 of clubs, it's not going to be as good as a 10 of, let's say, spades. Very fun system, very fun world, and I can't say enough about it. And the graphic design on it was done by an amazing individual. You might know them as Anita. But yes, highly recommend it if you want some spooky Final Girl, and if you want some high octane action. Capers Cyberpunk.
Excellent. Well, I think you've made your case well, Noir. But now it's my turn to present to the court. I've got a Kickstarter I think you might enjoy. It's the mini one deck game and score cards. 52 cards. Endless fun. Playing cards are great, but they could be better. What if I told you there's a deck of cards that not only plays the way normal playing cards do, but it's also got everything you need in order to play chess, dominoes, checkers, even more? Check out the mini one deck game and score cards, where you'll get 52 cards that are so versatile, you'll be rolling dice by flipping over cards. Now, I may have my gripes with Gloomhaven for doing this, but it's all in service of versatility. It's really just a new way to play all of your favorite classic games. It's great to take with you on the plane, on a trip to Vegas, or on the beach. It's great anywhere. It's a tiny little pack of cards. Definitely check it out now. It's got everything in a high quality, compact little box. 13 days left to go, and plenty of different pledge levels so you can get your hands on the most versatile deck of cards you'll ever see. I think I did great. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for that one. But I think now we've got time for one more Kickstarter coming to us from Peter.
All right. Well, this is Mycelia. Now, if you like to play a game on mushrooms, this might wait, no, it's a game of if you would like to play a game about mushrooms, you may want to fund this game, Mycelia. It is now on Kickstarter, but it ends tomorrow, and they have raised just over $500,000 so far. Mycelia is a dynamic game of tactics, a competition for space and resources to create your own mushroom kingdom. The game follows the life cycle of fungi, growing mushrooms to score points, sporing them to expand your mycelio network, and eventually seeing them decay to unlock special actions. Each player's mycelio network is made up from their mushroom tokens and spores. Players use these spores in the right locations to grow further mushrooms, gaining points and expanding their network. Your opponents can disrupt your network by stealing spores or even blocking your mushrooms. Being efficient with your spores, whilst using your mother mushroom and decay action in clever ways, will keep you on top of many a tactical conundrum. The board is created from individual triangle tiles representing different nutrients and minerals. Each player has the ability to add more tiles on their turn, giving a unique board each time you play.
Excellent. I think all of us have something to show for the court today. Well done, one and all. Get your hands on some of these exclusive Kickstarters and crowdfunding campaigns before they're too late, folks. But that's going to do it for this episode of TableTakes today. I hope you all learned something, found something useful, found something exciting to look forward to in the months to come. And I think no one is better suited to lead us into this outro than our very own Gen Con TV owner, Peter Adkins.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Javion. Yes, indeed. That is it for us at Table Takes. But stick around because we have lots of shows this week. In fact, one in just a mere half hour. Table Takes plays Noir, our Noir. Yes, that Noir Enigma will run a 5E one shot at 3:30 p.m. And then at 5 p.m. today, Sarah's Table. Sarah and her friends will be playing Eat the Right, which is Vampires versus Nazis. That sounds good to me. Monday morning, I'll be back with Peter versus Machine, where I'll be continuing my Civ 5 game, playing as Canada, pursuing a diplomatic strategy. I know, very not me, but I'm doing it anyway. At 4 p.m., 4 games with the Brothers Murph. Dress to Quest will not be on next Monday. They are on hiatus until November to launch a new season, getting ready, making big plans, I'm sure. Tuesday, 7 p.m. will be Indie by Night. Wednesday, 4 p.m., Path of the Brush. 4 p.m. At 6 p.m., Table Takes Plays. We'll be back with a game of Dread led by Bonsai Baby. And then Thursday, 10 a.m., Blood on the Clock Tower. 4 p.m., Roll of Rem Alternus. And then we're back to Friday, which means us. Woohoo! We will be back. That's right. Okay, so thank you very much to our production crew, Marcus Mays, Sarah Moore, Steve Cotter, and Tanel Levitt. Thanks to my co-hosts, Noir Enigma, Bonsai Baby, and Javion Smith. And thanks most of all to those of you who joined us in chat. We really appreciate it. We get lonely out here, but we like to see you in chat. So thank you. So follow Gen Con TV and enjoy the best 4 days of gaming all year long. That's right. Bye. See you later. Goodbye.
Bye.